man. So we got a special one for us today. Antonio Brown joins the Joe Rogan podcast, man. So you know it's gonna be some shit. I don't know what they talking about. I just stumbled across the video, man. So watch with me. So let's get right into it, man. We ain't even going to play around.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
So how did how did you come up with hashtag CTESPN? Because that's my favorite.
I feel like when I stopped playing football and I walked off the field, people was like, "This guy's crazy. Like he's retarded." You know what I'm saying? He's illiterate. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I could, rebrand CTESPN with giving people perspective of different challenges people face and great individuals, how they overcome adversity, and just kind of share and tune perspective of, how people is getting through trauma. No matter if you're a football player, I mean, what it's like for you. You started damn UFC. Like
he can't even get the fucking word out.
The reality of head trauma is something that we're like, as a society, we're just embracing over the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't for that concussion movie. I think that opened up a lot of people's eyes. That Will Smith movie.
Yes.
Yeah. And the story, that doctor, of him finding how many people have like significant brain trauma from football.
Yes. So for me, I try to use it because this is a serious standpoint. A lot of ex-players and players has been diagnosed and, passed away from CT. So for me, on a serious point of, bringing record awareness and bringing, a reality standpoint of what athletes and people fighting or anyone in their daily lives facing from head trauma, of just people writing them off, and encouraging therapy, encouraging how do you get through tough situation and then making it funny. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like nowadays if you do something crazy, people like, oh yeah, that guy's crazy. So it's like, let's just show why they crazy in CTESPN and show the cause of the craziness. You know what I mean?
Okay, he rebranded it.
I mean, there's a real cause to the craziness, and and we're ignoring it as a society because we love football, we love MMA, we love boxing.
Yeah,
so we just kind of like
overlook it with the entertainment.
Keep moving.
Keep hitting.
I'm friends with a lot of dudes, so I get to see what they're like after fights. Like everybody watches the fight. The fight's amazing, and then you run into them after fights and have a conversation with them. Like, oh man, their whole head's swollen, can't move their hands, can't walk, calves are blown out, knees fucked up, ice here, this there.
Oh, the challenge.
I don't even think about that shit, like how they feeling after the fight. You usually think they just go, well, in my mind, I would think they just, they ice up a little bit of recovery, but yeah, like they been hitting the head plenty of times. Now their head swelling up and shit. So I don't know, man. That's fucking crazy. And head trauma is no joke. Like you can't fuck around with that, like at all. So, like, I respect anybody who can get in and just take damage for a living. Like that's what it is. Let's get back to it.
It's a challenge, man. Yeah. It's a real challenge. Yeah. And when you started playing football, nobody even thought about it.
Yeah, because you just, you never think about the repercussions. You just think, how to make a better life.
Well, back then, nobody even really knew that was going to happen to football players. It was kind of a thing that they thought about with boxers. Rarely people talked about football players who aren't doing so good.
Yeah, so I feel like CTESPN was brought back to recognize the awareness of high-level people experiencing trauma and not being able to overcome that trauma. Because, life's change on you in a second. You playing football, it's going to come to an end, and then what do you do next?
When you talk about
that's a hell of a rebrand right there. To take that and really rebrand it into something he can actually make some money on, regardless if we know he has it or not. Like having people talk about their trauma and just getting it off their chest. Some people need to do that. That's therapy for some people. So that is a hell of a rebrand, man. I like that's impressive.
CTE. When did you first start noticing the effects of football?
I feel like to me, I always knew like the game was gonna come to an end, and I feel like to me, I always played the game smart as a receiver, not putting myself in bad positions, getting hit. But I did have a chance to, rest in peace, Demarius Thomas, one of the ex-receivers who came in the NFL around the time I came in. I had a chance to see him experience, some of that CTE trauma in the midst
How did he pass?
from CTE.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he passed from CTE.
yeah. When they study his brain, yeah, because I don't want to speak about the problems that he really had, but
Yeah.
being a close friend to him, you see some of the experience that he was going through, and playing for Temple my last year when we won the Super Bowl. I think it had a player, Vincent Jackson, rest in peace, also passed from CTE. So for me, it's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
And not only just from the hits you take, but like you said, aftermath of your career, or having a moment in your career where some guys can't get over it, or you done seen fighters have a fight, or it may not go the way that they wanted to go, and it could possibly affect the outcome of how they look at it. And I feel like we all have traumas in our lives no matter if you play sports or not.
Yeah.
So it just raising awareness of getting mental therapy and being able to, work on yourself so you can have a better life.
Man, that shit is crazy to think about now that he's going back and naming all of the players that possibly passed from CTE, and I know it's many more. But just the ones he came into the league with, or that he might have bumped shoulders with on teams. And like I said, it's probably many more, given the hits that they take every week. So I can't imagine that. I didn't know that Demarius Thomas had CTE. I never went and looked back at what was the cause of death, or if he potentially had it. I never really looked into that. So I know that had to be tough for somebody he came into the league with to really, go through something that people potentially put on him. That's got to be tough. Actually find out. Let's get back to it.
Yeah, that's a important point you brought up, like the psychology of an athlete. You have to learn how to put losses behind you and failures behind you, and regain your confidence, and then excel and move forward.
Yeah,
right.
You just gotta not let one moment overtake the overall moments of your career.
Right.
'Cause some moments are big moments, and if you get cut, little things that happen in your career, just take it with a grain of salt and be able to cope with the situations you're in.
Yeah. When did you? I mean, you talk pretty openly about CTE, but when did you start feeling the effects of that?
I feel like for me, I feel like I always was in tune and aware of my situation and where I'm at in life. I've been pretty blessed in my regards of being a football player, to be able to come from Central Michigan as a walk-on to Central Michigan, leave 3 years, go to the Steelers, being the second receiver pick in that year.
All right, he going through his accolades, man. Wait, so I'm not a doctor or anything, clearly. Can you actually feel the effects of CTE while you're living? I thought they can only discover it or even look for it after you pass away. Can somebody leave that in the chat? Because I'm very curious about that. Because he asked him, when did he feel the effects? And I'm like, wait, but that last time I checked, you had to die, and they find out then. Maybe because they have symptoms that we don't know yet are symptoms, then yeah. But please, somebody let me know.
And then, I always had a high belief in myself and never was deteriorated about the position or where I had to start from or where I was going. So for me, I always had the intuitive trust and the belief in myself regarding any situation I've been in, because, I came from Liberty City from nothing. So to me, everything's a blessing. So I never let football or any position I ever was in life deteriorate my perspective and my outlook or how I looked at.
Did you feel the way your brain work change at all, though?
No, I feel like the older you get playing sport, you realize deteriorate. You know what I'm saying? What the game entails on your body. I feel like in my 20s, I was just ripping through, you know, dominating the game.
Right.
Then when you get 30, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, it's a business. They're looking for younger players to excel at the game. And then when you leave one of the best teams and put yourself in a position to, you know, to do what's important for you other than important for the NFL, so you know what's going to come with that. So to me, I always made the calculated decisions, you know what I mean, to put myself in the best position, i.e. like playing with Tom Brady, you know, going to the Pacers or leaving the Steelers. Or, you know, I always try to just knew I wasn't going to play for a long time, just maximize the moment in the meantime playing. So when I'm done playing, I could live a healthy life.
So you played smart.
Gotta play smart.
And as a receiver, man, they're coming for you.
Yeah, you gotta play smart.
That's target numero uno.
Yeah.
You know?
All the way.
Yeah. Do you encounter a lot of young guys, or like, you know, I'm sure you run into like, and you definitely did while you were playing, young guys are coming in and you feel like compelled to let them know, like, hey, you got a short amount of time here. Yes. Nobody the longest anybody ever lasts is like Brady. Like, what's he now? He's like, he's thinking about doing it again. Yeah. He's like, what is he, 43?
He better.
44 probably, yeah.
Quarterback's a little different, right?
Yeah.
First off, man, Tom Brady, sit your ass down. We do not need you back in the league. We don't want to see it. Be the best commentator. I used to be one of the biggest Tom Brady fans, but sit your ass down, man. It's a young man's game. So we don't want to see it, nigga. And I'm pretty sure you could possibly get an 8th ring, but I don't want to see it. Like, we already saw that era, and we know you can beat Patrick Mahomes because you did it before. So sit your ass down. That's all I got to say about that one.
A lot different, right, than a receiver.
Different than a receiver, yeah.
And they have longer careers, but, you know, it's obviously, for most people, you start hitting your 30s. That's the same thing with fighters as well. So when they pass 35, that's the cutoff. 35, you're always looking for decline. And some of them hang in there strong, like Alex Pereira. He's 37. He's hanging in there strong, killing everybody. But for most guys, 35, 36, that's the drop-off, 37. Do you feel, like, compelled to talk to the young guys and, like...
Absolutely, because it's a short window of opportunity.
Yeah.
And you got to know, like, what are you set out to do? You know what I mean? What are you came to do? You got to have those intangibles. And just, you know, it's a long game.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
life is a long game.
Life is a long game, so
football's a chapter. Life's a long game. And it can be the most fun chapter of your whole life.
Exactly. But it's not real life.
Right.
Football is just what you do. It's really not who you is, but I feel like people will kind of get to know you from what you do based off, you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing is that, like, some guys, they have a real problem when they stop playing because they don't know who they are anymore. They used to be a football player, and now all of a sudden they're just a regular person who was a football player.
And that's some part of the trauma as well. You know, some guys, it's not really in tune to knowing themselves in regard to who they is. And to me, I always knew football was going to come to an end, but we don't have unlimited health. And I go back to the trauma, which is understand who you are.
But people to put, like, crazy on him, he's very, very articulate in the things that he think about when it comes to, like, head trauma and stuff like that. And, like, I thought this was going to be a little bit more wild of a conversation, but maybe this is just a piece of the conversation. So, and if it is, you definitely know I'm going to get back to it. But, yeah, let's get back to this. Wrap this
and making yourself happy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting to see that some people can navigate it and they figure out how to do it and they get through life and then they move on to other things and they start doing commentary on ESPN or what have you, and they're doing great. And then most people, that's not the case.
Yeah. That's why I say I recommend people who get therapy and in your career.
That was the case for sure.
Have good people in your corner that you know got your back that could still help you propel in life. And
did you get therapy when you were done?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, you got to get therapy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you specifically go to talk to them about?
Just how you feel, you know, mental clarity, you know, emotional feelings. You know, I feel like waking up and being a football player when you did it every day and you wake up with so much energy ready to put it out.
Right.
Just learning how to channel it, you know, learning how to deal with some relationships that maybe change now that you're not in a position, and how to deal with that, or how to deal with people leveraging you. You know what I mean, for what you got now, and just a lot of different things that just provide mental clarity and just because life's not about just being right, just figuring out ways to just be more happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So yeah, man. Let me know what y'all think about that, man. They weren't talking about nothing too crazy, just head trauma. It's crazy to say just head trauma, but it was a decent conversation. And let me know what y'all think about that. Chat, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe. I'll get up with y'all on another one. Out.